Welcome to Wednesday's Coaching Live in the Bold and Successful Women's Business Owner Group. My name is Heather Cameron, and today we're going to talk about getting shit done. Such an important thing for all of us to identify with, and it's been a real reminder for me over the last couple of days that there is ways for us to really get more shit done, get more things done, move our business forward when we leverage the power of accountability. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So for those who don't know me, my name is Heather Cameron of IgniteYourMarket.com, and my passion is helping women create vibrant, successful businesses by focusing on their systems, and in particular, focusing on their client getting systems. So how do you go and take somebody from unknown, unaware of you, and move them through to becoming a paying client, and then to have consistent paying clients, which creates consistent income and wealth in your business. So let's get started. I'm just going to make sure I'm live over here, and then we're going to get started. If you're joining me live, say hi. If you're listening to the replay, do #replay. I always come back and listen to the comments, and we'll answer any comments that you have. So just one quick second to make sure that I am live in the right place. Sometimes Facebook doesn't work for me. Okay. So I'm live and I can see your comments live. So what I wanted to talk about today is getting stuff done and leveraging the power of accountability. And there's some steps that I want you to think about before you go out and think about how you need accountability. There's some things you have to be aware of. How does accountability work for you? What type of accountability is going to empower you? And this is a really key important point for you, is to really recognize how you need to be accountable and what accountability works for you. So first of all, you got to be accountable. Accountability works when you have a plan. So you have to know what you're doing, and that starts with knowing your why. And then creating, I've had other videos about this. We've been talking a lot about setting goals and doing your 90-day plan for the last month. That's the starting point. So you create your plan, you know your why. So knowing your why, what you want to accomplish, and then writing down your plan. And I believe in 90-day planning. So that's the first step, right, is actually having a plan, because it's hard to be accountable to something that doesn't exist. So you want to be accountable to your business and accountable to your plan to get stuff done so that you can get results. So the first part is to plan it out. And if you don't have a 90-day plan, just write 90 days in the comments and I will reach out to you, because it's such an important part of it. It's hard to measure your success. It's hard to achieve the success that you want in your business, and it's hard to get shit done, the right stuff done, if you don't have a plan. So the planning is the first step. And along that is, once you have that plan, this is where the challenge comes in for a lot of people. We create these wonderful plans. We have this great plan. We've got the excitement of the vision of where we want to go to our business. And then a week goes by. And then a month goes by. And then 3 months goes by. And we haven't achieved the things that we want to achieve. And we're frustrated by ourselves. We don't really know why, because we haven't thought it through. Our priorities have changed. So many different things can happen. So you got to have the plan to start with, and then we got to figure out how are you going to get it done, right? And accountability is such an important part of this. So the first part of accountability is having the plan, so we can be accountable to what we want to do. And yes, our plans can adjust as things change, but we need to have the plan. So that's the first part. If you're joining me live, say hi. If you're listening to the replay, #replay. We're talking about how to get shit done, the power of accountability. And the reason that this topic came up today for me is that a colleague of mine has created a getting stuff done kind of challenge for 14 days that I joined. And it's amazing with that accountability. So everyone is doing something completely different on this plan. Some of it's business, some of it's not. But just the need to have accountability and to report back, I'm getting things done that I've been sitting on for a long time, right? So we have to ask ourselves why we're not doing the things that we say we're going to do. So the first part about getting things done is to write it down. We have to write down and know what it is that we want to get done. And then we have to remind ourselves why. Why are we doing this thing? Are we doing it because we want to? Or are we doing it because somebody told us we should do it? And that's important, because the motivation around shoulds, even if they're our own shoulds, tends to be procrastination. We don't like to be shoulded, human beings. We don't like to be told what to do. even when it's ourselves telling us what to do. So when we feel like we should do something, we tend to procrastinate much more on that than when we know that we want to do something. And sometimes the shift from should to want is to attach to the why. Why are you doing this? So on the call today, someone was talking about a book they wanted to read, and they kept procrastinating this. And their words were, I need to read this book. So need and should have that same kind of connotation. And so one of the exercises for her to go off and do is to really figure out, why do you want to read this book? Now, sometimes you need to do it. She might need to do it for her job. She may need to do it for her credentials, or she may need to do it for a purpose, but then you've got to attach it to the why. So if you need to do this book for your job, why, and what benefits will that give you when you finally read the book? So it's moving it from that heaviness and turning it from a should or a need to a want. I want to do this because it's going to allow me to do X, and really attaching to the why you're doing this activity. And that's just kind of a base thing when we set any goal. Why are you doing it? I hear a lot of people say, like, I need to be on Instagram. I have someone I know now who's like, I need to have this on my website. I'm like, why? Why do you need to have that on your website? Whose values are making you need it? And when you dig down, it's often not your own, and you actually don't really need it. So from a getting stuff done point of view, these needs and shoulds pull us down, and they distract us from doing the things that we really want to do and are going to move our businesses forward. The other thing to do is don't write a goal so big that there's nothing for you to do. So when we want to get stuff done, if we have a goal that's, so I'll give you an example that I'm going through right now, is I want to update my website. It's out of date. I want to update my website. That is a huge goal. And that's why I've been procrastinating on it, because I didn't break it down. So when we break it down, I know the activities that I need to do, and it's a lot easier to feel a sense of accomplishment and to get something done when we can break our goals down into mini activities. So for example, yesterday and today, I am trying to figure out how to configure my theme. So it's a little bit of a research, it's a little bit of a figure things out, but I need to understand how to configure my theme, because I use WordPress, and the basis of my WordPress theme is being archived. So I need to fix this. There is a need to fix this, because if I don't, my website won't work soon. So there's an actual business need to fix this. But instead of thinking I've got to update my website and it's just such an overwhelming thing, breaking it down to mini goals is how you're going to get stuff done. And sometimes you only need to know the next step you need to take. Like, I don't know, once I figure out how I'm going to configure my website, I don't know necessarily the next step to take, because that might be dictated by the choice I make. So it's breaking that down and knowing what your next steps are. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're on live, if you're listening to the replay, let me know. But step number 3 is really set many goals. And then step 4 is create a schedule. And one of the things that I recommend, and I'm relearning for myself, is the power of an hour. And I think I talked about this last week or the week before, is use your calendar and book in at least 1 to 2 hours a day of your work days that you're going to work on the things that are going to move your business forward. So you're going to work on your business plan, on the business, not on servicing your clients or your customers, not on posting on social media necessarily. You're going to work on the business part of your business, or you're going to work on a task. So you might have a power hour to write your newsletters for the month. You might have a power hour to create your social media content, right? So these power hours are the time where you're being creative and you're working. And so the value of that is to actually you'll be surprised how much you can do in 5 to 10 hours a week if you're focused on those things, and you use that time to work on the things that you need to do in your plan to move your business forward. Hopefully that makes sense. That can really exponentially skyrocket the results in your business. You don't have to know what you're going to do in these hours. You have to reserve the time for you. I often say you need to make your business your number 1 client. And so reserving this time for yourself is reserving time for your number 1 client. And you need to service your client, your business, so that your business can serve all the rest of the clients. And so you need to dedicate a certain amount of time to your business every week. And so an hour a day is a good start. 2 hours a day, you will be amazed if you're the discipline to actually do work in those 2 hours a day. Turning off all distractions and just focusing is going to really help you get stuff done, right? So allocating time for your business to get the right things done. So So far we've talked about know why you're doing it, create a plan and write it down, break things down into mini goals, and then create a schedule. Start scheduling those mini goals into your power hours, and treat your power hours like sacred time. You can have them at different times during like a day. Potentially on Wednesdays you've got something that you're committed to in the morning, so your power hours are in the afternoon, but on Mondays and Tuesdays they're in the morning. It doesn't matter when they are. That's the beauty of being an entrepreneur that a lot of people forget. It's not that we don't have to work, it's that we get to choose how we work and when we work. And so it's good to put working hours, and it's good to put some structure in your day, because that helps us get stuff done. I find if you don't have structure and you're not doing that, it's so easy to fill your day with busy work and actually feel like a month has gone by, 2 months has gone by, and you haven't really advanced your business because you haven't been working on the high value tasks. So having these power hours for high value tasks is a really great way to start to get stuff done. And then the next one is accountability. So you need to know what type of accountability works for you, and you need to build it into your system. So I'm going to go through 4 types that I kind of penned. There are more types, but the first one is self-accountability. How good are you at being accountable to yourself? So if you're listening online, or you're live with me, or you're watching the replay, let me know which one you are. So self-accountability is somebody who writes a list, puts time on, and manages their time and their energy so they actually do everything they say they're going to do. Their commitment to their self is really, really high. My niece is like this. My niece, she has her PhD. She's a prof at U of T, at University of Toronto, for those who aren't in Canada. She can manage her time. She can write out a schedule. She can study. When she was studying for a PhD and working on theses, she could block book time and stick to it. Unbelievable. She needs no outside accountability. Doesn't need it. She has enough self-accountability to get stuff done. I don't meet a lot of people with that level of discipline and that level of self-accountability. If she's going to work on X thing in 1 hour, she won't deviate from that. She won't be distracted from it. She'll shut off everything, focus, and do it, which I admire so much. I don't have that level of accountability. We have a certain amount of self-accountability, but most entrepreneurs I meet don't have that level of self-accountability. There's too many things coming at them. They're too distracted by all the bells and the whistles and the things that they need to do, that self-accountability is very difficult for them to do. So the next level of accountability is to publicly state it. So public accountability can be really powerful for some people. So writing it down, there's lots of theory, evidence out there that just thinking about goals doesn't really increase our likelihood of getting it. Writing something down, writing down a goal that's specific, SMART goals, increases our likelihood of achieving our goal. And to step it up, to increase our likelihood of really achieving a goal, is to publicly state it. Now, publicly stating our goals can be done in many ways. I have a post on Monday mornings. What's your goal for the week? A lot of groups do that. You can send an email to a friend. It doesn't matter what method you do it. It's being publicly accounting and stating it adds one more level of getting your goals done. So is that enough for you? This is where the questions come in. Is that enough for you, just publicly stating it? Because sometimes it's not. For some people it's not. And that's okay. Each one of these is okay. And sometimes we're a combination of these. So the next one after that is publicly stating it. And publicly does not mean in public. It just means outside of yourself, by the way. When I say publicly stating it, it's stating it outside of yourself. It still could be in a confidential, private setting, but it's setting it outside yourself. And the next one, number 3, is to publicly declare it or publicly state it and commit to a check-in. So this challenge that I mentioned, or this 14-day challenge that I'm running, I'm going through with a friend of mine, who is also a coach. We're checking in every day. So it's great because you feel an obligation to get done what you said you were going to do, and it also gives you the ability to look at why you didn't get something done and be honest with yourself. So checking in every day, it's amazing what you can get done over 14 days. Now, the intent of her challenge is to make that a habit, to make a habit of making a declaration every day and actually being accountable to your own to-do list, right? And that's the intention of her challenge, but it brought up to me that just having a public accountability and a check-in really puts me into action. That's a really sweet spot for me. And I've been in business for 17 years, I think, 16 or 17 years. And I used to create accountability pods. I would go out and find other business owners before there was Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. And we would meet once a month or once every 2 weeks because I needed that exterior accountability and that check-in. And it wasn't a paid thing. It was just peers creating an accountability system, an accountability group, and having that public check-in with have that public accountability with a check-in and brainstorming. We had some masterminding going on top of that. But that's a really powerful way for a lot of people to get things done. And then the fourth one is, it's similar but different, which is private accountability with coaching. And that's really what business coaching, life coaching, all of these things are grounded on, is to have that voice where you can come in and you can state your goals and you can work out your goals and you can leave with actions, or you can have an action and you can come back and be accountable to that and work through more of why the action's not working or what your next step is, depending if you're talking about a business coach, a mindset coach, a life coach. We all have different styles. My style is very action oriented, so that's how I coach with clients, which is to figure out what you want to do, set your plan, get into action, and then figure out why you're not doing it, or why you're not doing it doesn't mean it's a negative. Maybe you need to learn something. Maybe we need to set something up. There's lots of reasons why we don't do what we want or get the results that we don't want. Get the results we want. Let me try that one again. There's a lot of reasons why we work and we don't get the results we want, or we're not doing the things we want. And that's what that private kind of coaching and accountability, which combines the accountability, the check-ins, and coaching. And so that's another level of accountability. And which one are you? Which one is the one that really is your sweet spot? And it's a really important one to get to know, because then you can build it into your plan. If you want, there are a lot of people and there's a lot of ways that you can reach out and create an accountability partner. You can reach out to a peer who's on a similar level than you. And so you want a balanced accountability partner. So my one comment about finding accountability partners or creating an accountability group, if external accountability is important for you, is you want to be at the same level. In particular, if you're a coach, this is important. I have had accountability partners where I became more of a coach to them, and it wasn't an equivalent level. So it's important to find someone who's in the same kind of space that you are if you want to create accountability. But think about, what are you? Are you somebody who can be amazingly self-accountable and you don't need exterior commitments? Are you somebody who needs to state it publicly and just doing that is enough for you to get it done? Are you somebody who needs to state it publicly, share it with someone else, and have check-ins to give yourself true accountability? Or do you like the power of accountability in that private one-on-one coaching or small group coaching? So think about which one's going to get your business and get you moving the most forward, because they're all valid. And yes, you might be a combination and you might need a little bit of each, but which one? We would all love to be self-accountable. I mean, if all of us could be like my niece, there's some good and bads to it, but if we could all be like my niece, we would get so much more done. But the reality of it is, it's not human nature to have that level of accountability. Most of us don't. So how do you build into those accountability? And when you have your accountability group or your accountability partner or your coach, how do you make sure that you're being accountable to the right things? So I challenge you, if you do this, is not to allow yourself to continue to be accountable to busy work versus work that's really going to get your business going. And that's why that comes back to having a plan. Because then you can be accountable to the things that are going to move your business forward versus some of the busy work. Like, one of the things you often hear about accountability is, well, I really need to post on social media every day. Okay. So you can be accountable to post on social media every day, but that's not necessarily, that's one thing. But it's not necessarily the big thing that you need to do to move your business forward. Although consistency is important and being accountable to consistency is important. But then take that a level deeper and think about, well, why are you struggling with consistency and what is it that you really need to be accountable for? And it might be something like, I need to be accountable to bulk create all of my social media content. Or I need to be accountable to systemize or to write down how I want to do my social media content so I can hire someone to do it. Things like that. So it's really about thinking it through and understanding what that means and how you can do accountability. Another part of it is celebrate. That's the cool part of an accountability partner. But celebrate when you do a goal, when you hit a mini goal. Take a moment, pause, and say, I did that. Give yourself positive reinforcement and don't beat up on yourself. So if you miss an accountability, we're having this discussion this morning in this group, is we need to talk to ourselves like we would talk to a colleague, like we would talk to our best friend. We don't need to talk to ourselves like, oh my God, Heather, you set that goal and once again you didn't get it done, and what's wrong with you, and all the negative talk that we are capable of doing for ourselves. We need to catch ourselves and say, no, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to talk to ourselves like we are our best friends. We're going to treat ourselves kindly, and then we're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate when we, spent 5 days and we did 5 power hours and we accomplished X. Then how do you celebrate that? And celebration can just be a moment of going, yay. It could be dancing in the room. It could be going and getting a pedicure. It could be whatever you want, but allow yourself those mini celebrations because they reinforce the fact that you're getting stuff done, right? So they reinforce it, and they reinforce the way that you've chosen to be accountable. So it's a really powerful thing to just have mini celebrations to really reflect on what you're doing. Now the next one is recognize when you're procrastinating. So again, if you're on live or if you're watching the replay, do you recognize do you know your own procrastination patterns? Because we all have them. And the weird part of the brain is that when we're procrastinating, we kind of turn a blind eye to it. And we think, and that's where busy work comes in. Like, I came upstairs, my office is upstairs. Sorry, I'm going to sneeze. I came upstairs and I signed on to Facebook and an hour and a half went by and I did nothing. Was that because I should have been on Facebook for an hour and a half, or was I procrastinating but still feeling like I was working because my mind was busy? I was looking at all this stuff, I was reading all this stuff, my mind was busy, so I was working. But was that a form of procrastination? For me, yes, it can be a form of procrastination. Or I tell myself I don't know what to do. That's another form of procrastination. I'm not sure what I should be doing. I'm not sure what my next step is. And I know when I go down the spiral of procrastination, I always hit that one at one point. Of course, I know what some of my next steps could be. I haven't chosen, so I get into this spiral of procrastination. So the sooner you recognize when you're spiraling into procrastination, the easier it is for you to start to build in moments, start to build a system that pulls you back from procrastination and gets you into action, into accountability, into getting stuff done. Because here's the thing about getting stuff done in our business. When we get the right stuff done, we feel better about ourselves. We feel better about our business. We are serving, whether you're a product-based business or a service-based business, we're serving more clients. We're building a better impact. We're having a better business. We're creating more wealth for ourselves. Think about all those positive things if you are focused on getting shit done. If only we could find a way to monetize procrastination. Hi, Kim. Absolutely. I'm sure somebody could find a way to monetize procrastination, and I'm sure there's people who have, but I don't think it's the norm. But it's just being aware of how you procrastinate. And then, sometimes I actually believe that when I'm in full procrastination mode, I am better to shut down, walk away, go for a walk, clear my mind, do something that uplifts me, and then come back to work than I am to stay in the false sense of busyness that procrastination can become, because then I don't feel good about myself. But if I say, okay, you're just not into this today, it's time for you to take a break, go for a walk, go sit outside, whatever it is, and recharge your batteries and then come back, it pulls you out of the negativity of procrastination. But it's acknowledging it. It's acknowledging your path to procrastination, how you procrastinate, because we all do it differently, but it's acknowledging it so that you can pull yourself away from it sooner and do something that's going to uplift you and get you energized to get back to doing things. Or you can pull yourself out of procrastination and just say, hey, I'm procrastinating here. It's time to get back to getting stuff done and get refocused. But if you need the break, take the break. You're better off spending your time doing that than you are procrastinating. Now, if procrastination is taking the break, then you got to check on that, right? So we all have these games we play with ourselves. It's amazing how well we can procrastinate. And then we don't get stuff done. And that's where accountability can really help. So if I'm accountable to someone else, if I'm challenged at being accountable to myself, which I know I am, I need exterior accountability. If I'm accountable to someone else, then that procrastination becomes less of an issue because I want to get it done. I want to. An outside challenge for me is a really strong accountability. Being accountable to someone else really helps me get stuff done, particularly if we're going to. So I had an accountability partner for probably a year and a half. And we met every Friday. And so there was a reason to get stuff done, and it really does help. But again, having an accountability partner where you're both using the relationship equally is important. So it's, if your first accountability partner might not work out. As I said, I've done group accountability, I've done individual accountability, I've had really good success, and then they petered out. So it can change as well. So think about what accountability works for you. The next one is put blinders on and enjoy. If you were listening to my live last week, enjoy the joy of missing out. It is so easy right now. It's unbelievable with all the internet. I was having a discussion with my niece about this on the weekend, of having our phones attached to us, having something there. There's always something coming in and pulling our attention away from the intent of what we're doing. And it doesn't matter. My niece is employed. She's not self-employed. It doesn't matter if you're employed or self-employed. That's the environment that we're all working in. So it's very difficult for us to do that, to have all this stuff coming at us. And my phone is ringing and I'm just going to decline it. There we go. To have all this stuff coming at it, it's very difficult for us to do that. So recognizing, I lost my train of thought by hanging up my phone. Recognizing how to put blinders on. So embracing the joy of missing out and allowing yourself time for the things. If you like to learn, I'm a constant learner, so I have to allow myself time to learn, but I can't allow myself to book all of my time in webinars and challenges and other stuff like that, and I'm not getting my job done when I do that. And my job is to make my business successful. That's what I've chosen this to be, my job. I'm not doing that if I'm allowing all this stuff to come at me. So be selective and embrace the joy of missing out. Create your plan, whatever that plan may be, and then be selective about that and focus on what you're going to do during those moments, right? So what are you going to do to achieve your plan? How are you going to do that? Focus on that. And then when you got your plan and you're working it, then you can fill in around it some of the other things that are going to bring you joy in your business, going to move your business forward, going to fill if you're a lifetime learner or if you like to study, but you're focused on achieving the big things that you wanted to do first. And then the last one I had on my list of things to do to get shit done and really embrace accountability is to create some personal accountability. And I like to do weekly check-ins and check-outs. So at the beginning of the week, write down what you're going to do. If you're using an accountability partner, you can share that with them. If you're not, you need to learn. We all need to learn to be accountable to what we say we're going to do. So by writing it down at the beginning of the week and then coming back at the end of the week and asking yourself, did I get it done? And this is where being kind to yourself comes in. If you didn't get it done, then ask yourself why. What could you have done differently? Did you write a goal that was just too big for the week based on the week that you had coming on? Was it not small enough? So we talked about setting mini goals. Was your goal too big to get done in a week? And that's a really powerful thing. When you do a beginning of the week and end of week activity, you want to set your goals for that week in chunks that are achievable. They can be stretched, but you don't want to set a goal that there's no way you can achieve it in the week, and then you get to the end of the week and you haven't even done it because you're procrastinating because you can't achieve it during the week, right? So writing down your goals at the beginning of the week, scheduling them out in your calendar into your power hours, into different places that you're going to work, and then give yourself time at the end of your week. The last hour of your week, sit down and say, did I do it? Did I achieve my goals? Did I actually get what I wanted? And that's the first step to self-accountability. How are we self-accountable? That's going to be your first step. And then really, how do you build in that extra levels of accountability that you need? Because it helps to, what am I looking for? It helps to create and mature our self-accountability muscle, right? It's something that if it's not your strongest muscle, to the level of my niece who's crazily self-accountable, if it's not your strongest muscle, how do you start building that muscle to support your business? And so that weekend, beginning of the week, end of the week check-in is a really great way to start to build your muscle, but don't allow yourself to give yourself a break. Right? So it's a little bit of, you have to have some discipline in it to really give yourself that questions of, why am I not achieving my goals? How can I be better at this? Or, fantastic, I did what I said I was going to do and I did even more, right? So there can be a celebration as well on that self-accountability part of it. Any questions on this? Kim, I don't know what type of accountability works best for you. Is it self-accountability? Is it accountability to somebody else? And think about how you can achieve that. So if you're listening to the replay as well, share what type of accountability works best for you. For me, it's 3 and 4. It's public accountability plus a check-in, or it's that private coaching accountability plus a check-in. And to be honest, the public one probably works better than the private coaching one. Because the coaching one, I find, excuse me, depending on the coach's style and what's going on, I haven't found that as strong. A public accountability with check-ins where we're supporting each other without any other financial or anything else is really my best type of accountability. Doesn't mean I don't need a coach. A coach is a different relationship, but I know having that public accountability with check-ins is a really powerful one for me. It's when I get the most done, and when I forget to build that into my support system, it's when procrastination kicks in more and I get less done, and I get into the fear of missing out, and all that kind of stuff starts to play more and more. But when I have that public accountability with check-ins, that's a really powerful one for me. So think about what works best for you. Because when we start to do this, when we start to get stuff done, when we start to focus on the things we really want to do with our business, the big things that are going to allow us to grow our business, they're going to allow us to serve more people. It all starts to be positive energy. We start to get more business. We start to have less noise. We start to get rid of the fear of missing out and get into the joy of what we're doing. We start to have better clients. Like, it's like positive on top of positive on top of positive that starts to happen when we get stuff done, and it's the right stuff. And we're holding ourselves accountable either through ourselves or through someone else to actually doing the things. And we start to work smarter, so it takes us less time to do things. So it's a win-win-win-win when we start focusing on accountability and start focusing on how we're going to get stuff done. We start to win, and we start to have a win-win-win-win-win, and our energy goes up. And I see it all the time when I work with clients. When we really start getting on that accountability and we start talking about what they want to do, because my prime one-on-one coaching program is called Action Coaching. It's about getting into action. And the way it's structured is that you can have a coaching call whenever you want, but the next one only comes when you've done the action you want. So it is truly an accountability method. And people get stuff done. And they get a lot of stuff done because they have accountability. And often what we're working on is very tactical. It's about action. Coaching happens and the mindset transformations and all of that happen because they're in action, and we can start to deal with the real hangups that are coming up versus, coaching once every 2 weeks and you kind of feel like you're obligated to bring a problem in. So in the stuff that I do, it's about really being accountable to getting your actions done and doing that and moving forward from that. So think about what works for you. How can you build accountability into your business going forward? If you already have it, congratulations, because it's such a powerful thing. If you don't, how are you going to build it in, right? Writing down your goals, breaking them down into mini goals is so important, to doable mini goals that you can do in a week's time frame. Having that beginning and end of week check-in and check out is really powerful. Setting power hours, so you have at least 1 hour a day, if not 2 is really ideal, where you're working on your business and your business is your number one client. And then really thinking about what type of accountability works best for you and then seeking it out. So if the best accountability for you is a coach, then plan how you're going to seek that out, when you're going to do it, what are the parameters that need to be in place for you to have that coach that's going to build in the accountability you want. If just having an accountability partner who's not a coach, just a peer, then seek somebody out. There's hundreds of people who want that same thing. So seek someone out and create that for yourself and have like a weekly check-in or a bi-weekly check-in. Really powerful. If just stating them publicly, find places that you can do it. You can do it in my group on Monday mornings. There's lots of groups who ask, what are your goals for the week? And on mine, you can come back Friday afternoon and say whether you accomplished it or not. Just that can be a good level of accountability for some people. And if you're personally accountable, then what's getting in your way from achieving the things that you want to do? And then the other thing I talked about was know your procrastination game. So recognize when you're procrastinating, recognize what that looks like so that you can reframe it. You can pull back and really ask yourself, why am I procrastinating? And maybe there's a legitimate reason and you just need to turn it off and go for a walk, like I said. Or really understand that you're procrastinating because there's a story you're telling yourself that's holding you back from what it is that you really want to do. Because it's kind of a strange human thing, right? We really want to do something and yet we procrastinate from doing it. There's a real human dynamic that we're all living with, which is although we really want to do something, we haven't attached our actions to what we want to do. And the more we don't attach our actions, the more we create a story that's unempowering. So by doing and really thinking about this, it can really help you. And like I said, you'll start building positivity on positivity and your business will start to soar. So any questions? That's what I wanted to cover today. Any questions or comments? Kim, thank you for being live. If you listen to the hashtag replay, if you'd like any help doing your 90-day plan, just put 90 days in the comments or message me directly. And if accountability is something you're looking for, then I encourage you to reach out to people to really think about the accountability model that's going to work the best with you and create it for yourself. Because it's not going to, I'm sorry, my voice is going, it's not going to come to you. You need to create it. You need to be purposeful. And you need to think about what accountability is going to help you achieve what you want to achieve. This is true in life and business, but I'm focused on the business side of it. So any comments or questions, anything else for this week? If not, I will be back next week for our Wednesday 3 o'clock coaching live. And if you're listening to the replay, hashtag replay. And you're welcome, Kim. Hashtag replay, and I will get back and answer any questions you have. And if somebody wants an accountability partner, you can post that in this group. I'm open to that. So that can be a post you could put in the group and see if somebody wants to be your accountability partner. So have a great day, everybody, and we will talk to you again next week. Bye.